Hi and welcome to another episode of Chennai AI Community Podcast. Let's explore the world of artificial intelligence through interesting conversations. So today we have with us a leadership person, Santhosh Munisamy. Hi Santhosh.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you, Yousef?
I'm doing good.
Nice.
So Santhosh is Associate Director. He's actually in charge for AI and data related activities. And so today we are going to understand from a leadership perspective how a leadership looks into AI and their vision, and let's get dive into that. So Santhosh, I would like to begin with, can you share us about your journey?
So I started off as a developer, pretty much a .NET developer. I used to do fingerprint development, algorithms, and then I slowly moved on to SharePoint.
Okay.
Then I did all facets of the software life cycle. So I did development, I had infrastructure, I managed the servers. I did the 360 degree. I went down to architecture. I started doing enterprise architecture work for a lot of companies. And then I moved on to delivery. So it was a slow journey.
Yeah.
And past more than 6-7 years, I've been doing pretty much purely delivery. And I've been focusing for all these 6-7 years mostly on Azure and data and AI. That is the area that we have been focusing on.
Awesome. So somewhere our career trajectory is kind of going in sync in some certain ways. Your IT journey started in 2007.
2007, pretty much on the core side.
And you spent a long stint at the organization. I also was there pretty much till 2020, and then
I spent like close to
11 years. Yeah, I was 12 years with Accenture. So yeah, great. So let's understand, like for the audience, a leadership role. So what is a leadership role? What does a day-to-day looks like? And can you put some thoughts into that?
So if you look at a day-to-day of a leadership role, it has two fronts to it. One is on the business side, the other is on the technical side. So I'm at a junction where I have to understand what the business is coming from, understand where the technology team is coming up, and be the liaison there to match the needs and make sure none of it is going off or on.
So what would be the expectations from the business leadership or the company leadership, and what will be the expectation from the clients? What will be the expectation from your junior managers and team leaders? So you are basically it's a triangle. It's a triangle. You are in the middle of the triangle.
So what happens is, if you look at the business, right, from our internal stakeholders, basically your senior management, right, they want us to solve the business problem for the client, make sure the solution works for the client with the best value. Okay, that is what the internal management is going to look at. When you look at the client wants us to have a deep understanding of their domain, basically, and understand how the solution fits in, and be more consultative there. Tell them, hey, this is right for you. This is not probably the right option. Can you look at a couple of other alternatives? So that is where they are going to look at. But mostly the team that we are working with, right, they are the ones who are going to do the heavy lifting.
Correct.
So what happens is, typically we are giving a lot of a solution, but then that solution sometimes comes from the team also. So bring that solution from them, package it in a way that both our internal and the client, they understand from the overall stakeholder perspective, and then bringing it all together in a way that the whole project execution and the program execution becomes more smoother.
Right. So now let's talk about from the managers or team leads or the junior developers. So what, from their angle, what do they expect?
Mostly it is the decision making. So they can do a lot of coding. They're like fantastic developers. They can build code, they can validate it, all of that. But they'll be at a crosshairs where, hey, this is what comes from the development side, this is what comes from the QA side, and this is what the architect is saying. But they will not be able to take a decision. So at that point of time, we'll have to analyze what this problem statement is and give them a solution. Okay, this is how you move forward. And now, once you do that, again, the client may have a different vision there. So you'll have to make sure that this is also going back to the client and saying, are they okay with it?
Correct.
So that mapping is where the biggest of effort goes in.
And just to go a little deeper level, so from an internal, not many people will know, from an internal company organization perspective, we have revenue as a goal of a director.
Yes.
They have to bring in certain amount of margins. Attrition has to be controlled.
Yes.
All the decision making related to how much offer we are going to make for new hires.
Yes.
And internal compliances, audits. There is a lot from the internal.
So what I've spoken is more on the project.
Correct. Yeah,
right?
I understand.
But when I run the project, they'll have to say whether I'm hitting the cost, right? Am I giving the right value for the right amount of money that is invested?
Yeah.
Is it profitable? Am I getting in the right quality? Those are all the soft parameters of how the project success is measured.
Correct.
It is not just working software.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good quality software built on time.
Correct.
Within the budget and performant. These are all like non-functional.
Correct.
But you have to make sure that you're making sure all of that is there. Now, with AI and other things coming out, compliance.
Yeah.
How compliant is it? Like previously it used to be like HIPAA and some of those guidelines. You are able to manage it very easily. But with AI coming in, the compliance is becoming a lot more involved actually.
So this is like what I'm trying to put across for the audience is like the different tangents that we are together trying to say. From internal leadership, you have a lot of activities. You know, why I'm saying this question is like, to be frank, when I started my career back in 2007, when I look at manager and senior manager, I just think, what are they doing? Okay, we are sitting and doing the coding. You know, when I got into positions where I was handling responsibilities, and I know, man, like you might leave home at 5 o'clock, but you are logged in. You are sitting till night 10, 11, midnight for a client call, and you know, that's the life that not many people starting out, they might realize the roles and responsibilities.
Typical journey that even I had this question.
We had this question, yeah.
Everybody has this question. Like when I am at a stage, I think most of the work is done by me. What is the person above me doing?
Yeah.
Always, like when I was a junior developer, I was thinking senior developer writes code, but he is like taking my code, integrating and doing something. When I came to a lead, I said, okay, architect, what is it sitting and doing? So then when I did architecture, I realized, okay, hey, there is a lot more to the thing. Before he says, okay, go and do this one line of code, he has done 1 hour of understanding.
Yeah.
So he creates the boilerplate for you, but you are only implementing the boilerplate.
Exactly.
To put the boilerplate out, he has to think a lot of stuff. So that gradually I've seen, okay, hey, above me, there is a lot of
So
work. After I started questioning my architect, I realized, okay, people above me are doing something which I am not doing right now, and probably it is above my pay grade.
Yeah. So the bottom line is very simple. Whenever we see that, okay, our seniors are probably not doing much, no, those positions actually require a lot of work, and that's why we are not sitting. I mean, they are not sitting idle. We are not sitting idle.
Okay. I want to reiterate that we are not.
So, I mean, again, just to summarize, people at the leadership level, at a delivery standpoint, we're handling multiple projects. So, we know what best has worked there, what has went wrong, all those things that we can kind of share ideas, bridge them together and help save a lot of time and energy.
Basically, make it smoother for them, because when we are working on multiple projects, we have gained a lot of knowledge on what could go wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's more on the risk management. Hey, if you're going in this direction, you will probably hit this. Are you taking care of it? You're not saying that you are going to hit it, but you may encounter a problem. How do you solve?
Santhosh, earlier back, probably 1 or 2 years back, service-based companies, when they are kind of are responding to RFPs, right? They used to have a certain budget for clients when they say they are allowing and open to use AI for their SDLC implementation, and have a different budget slightly at a higher price when they say that no, we don't want AI. But now things have changed and everybody wants AI.
Yeah, so what has happened is 2 years ago, GenAI was very nascent. So people were trying to see whether it is going to work or not. Now they know that it is going to work, but they don't know how much it is going to work. But they know it will work and it will bring them a cost optimization. So previously they used to take that risk. Correct. So we used to compensate that, and we used to have a lot of programs to compensate that kind of a risk taking. But now it is like everybody is going to use some form of AI or the other, whether I'm doing it in the coding side or on the testing side. One of those things or all of that together is going to give you that pricing. So nowadays it is not like whether you are going to use it or not, you have to use it.
So what pace are the clients looking with what you see? Are they trying to rapidly move, or they are cautious?
Trying to be moving aggressive? There are two basically. One is they are aggressively in AI. They've already exploded for a year or two. They are moving forward very, very fast. But there are still people who are like testing the waters. They want to do non-business critical work. Basically, they don't want to be into something which is their core business, basically customer service and other things which are
not frontline. They don't want it to be on the front lines.
Yes,
but probably start off with
non-business critical, non-core project.
Test the waters and move ahead.
Then once they're comfortable with that approach, they want to go into the core business.
Okay, awesome. So now with AI talent shortage that we are seeing, so how is that? Well, how do you see that in India and globally? Is there a huge talent shortage?
There is a talent shortage. Obviously, it's a new tech.
Yeah.
It's just 2 years. You don't have people like, I've still seen some JDs get posted like, hey, with 3 years, 5 years, it's not practical. You don't get a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
And most of the talent currently in the market that we are requiring is more on the AI consumers, not the builders. Because ML and all those things, we have people who've been doing it, data scientists, we have all of those skill sets. But mostly the influx in the past 2 years is how can I consume it? Whether I'm doing prompt engineering or context engineering. We want people who can do that piece of work. Technically, you're a consumer of AI to build the application faster. Now, there is again another facet. This is just code building, right? There is another facet of it where you're using the NLP and other things where you're using AI in your project, but it is not for code generation. You're also using the AI as a part. The third part of it, which is where the actual talent shortage is on the actual building of LLMs and models and other things, where you still have real shortage because people have to go really deep in understanding their entire process of building a model, understanding how the data is there, the whole stats and all the part of it. That is very much a shortage because you don't have traditional, engineers having that background. They fall short there. But if you're someone who is having that background, then you have a very good.
So I just saw a LinkedIn post from a founder in SF, San Francisco area, and he just posted that I'm looking for a engineer who can ship fast, and I'm ready to buy you a Porsche 911. Okay. For just referring. So just it's crazy, and he's just saying that if the candidate is with me for 3 months, then you get the Porsche 911. So at that level is what is currently
there's a big talent pool. Even Facebook Meta has invested a lot, right? There's a big post. They're kind of giving hell lot of money,
millions of as a joining bonus
for joining, and they're bringing in the top minds.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you are one of those top minds, obviously you're high demand.
Yeah.
Okay. Affordability, like Meta can afford it, right? But if you want someone on that scale, your business has to have that supporting mind.
Now with leadership, I would say if somebody who is probably handling delivery of other technical projects like let's say Java production support or mainframe, for them to get handling AI projects. So what do you suggest? Like how can they add AI projects to their portfolio? What are the things that they have to probably learn or get into this?
So if you ask me personally, one, for a traditional manager, there's nothing like a traditional manager. If you're a manager of Java, then if tomorrow you get a .NET project, you still manage it.
Correct. Yeah.
So think of it like another technology stack that you're going to pick up. Okay, it makes the burden seem a little lesser, right?
Yeah.
So think of it like another technology is coming. Let me understand the fundamentals of it. So as long as you're able to understand what a model stands for, what is AI, what is machine learning, what is deep learning, you pick those terminologies, get a 101 basics of it. Once your basics are covered, then go back to your own projects. Okay? Even in the traditional project or support project, right?
Yes.
There is self-healing.
Definitely, yeah.
You can use self-healing. Okay. Where can I introduce that? Start pitching this to the client. So you're adding value.
Yeah.
You're having a low impact exposure towards AI. And then once you're exposed, you understand how it is also working.
Yeah.
So you have a working solution.
Yeah.
Now you've automatically transitioned into an AI manager.
Correct.
Right. Now you are more equipped to take it up. This is one way of doing it, where you're in the current world,
job roles you're doing it. Yeah.
The other side of it.
Yeah.
Right. I was a manager. I completed my project. Now I get into an AI project. Wherein you have to take a time off, do rapid learning, upskill yourself, and then work with your leads to bring in, because you'll have technical pool.
Correct.
The actual people are going to do it, they would have come back from that background, right? So sit with them, understand how they're solutioning it. Not just managing it, but get a level deeper. understand how the solution is coming out. When you start doing it, you'll learn, but it is more on the job training.
Correct. Yeah.
It should be a little taxing, but if you get that after 3 to 4 months, because you're a seasoned manager, you usually pick it up.
Interesting. So, like for we were just discussing before the podcast. So I was just saying, yesterday I was speaking to somebody and I said, go watch our podcast. So you have a different stream of AI professionals who come there. But yeah, that's basically what even yesterday when I spoke to a person, I was saying that, see, listen, understand the basics of it and first get that and see in your client roles what can be done. And that's a good starting point always. But if they want to completely transition, then probably they can start investing time, like going more into a structured approach, get into enroll themselves in a master's program
degree,
parallelly your job is there, you have your income coming and all the things there, your delivery, you're actually implementing AI, but slowly you're taking that change, that 2 years down the line.
Now when you transition in that way, in a structured learning, you're also exposed to the internals of how the models are being built, what is this, algorithms being built, how do you, so first thing is more like consuming, because you're into management, you don't have to get in and build a model yourself, right? You are pretty much understanding what are those different models available, what are the pros and cons of that model, how do you use it, for which solution you use it. So as long as you're able to solution it, you're good. But if you're going into a core ML team, which is actually building the model for you, and you want to be managing that, yes, you have to go to the structured learning course. You build your, you have to hand code the models, because the questions and the problems that you solve as a manager of a model creation project,
it's very different.
It's very different.
Basically, to summarize, it's like somebody who wants to, at a manager level or leadership level, if they want to manage the AI ML projects, they can get their wider exposure, go to their niche of their domain and projects and see what can be done. But if they want to transition, start going in a structural approach, get enrolled in the masters and probably go for more meetups, be in those circles. In your company, if there is an AI capability, work closely with them. And because the junior engineers will expect
you to give
the decision making there. So Santhosh, what I would like to know next is like enhancing internal AI capabilities. So for any company right now, having AI talent is almost it's important and essential. It's like no more optional. So now let's say a company has a certain demand of I'm just hypothetically saying about 100 engineers for that matter. Okay. And we are looking at projections. We are looking at in next pipeline, looking at our pipelines. We need 100 AI engineers in a matter of 3 months or 6 months or 1 year or whatever.
Okay.
Now, how does company look at it in terms of securing this talent? How much percentage do you think is external hiring? How much percent of that would be something like picking up the top performers and investing in them, saying that, okay, you go and do the master's program or whatever, we are going to support you. You might have a limited availability in the project, but it's okay, but we are going to invest in you. And how much percentage you think are the rest of the percentage where like you say, okay, you do certification, we'll reimburse, and you basically learn how to leverage AI in your job functions.
Okay. So if you ask me, the top 20-30, the key roles, maybe you have an architect, okay? He's not going to be involved all across the project, right? So he's going to be there in the solutioning on key things. So you probably have one person who will work on multiple projects. So I'll hire someone like that, probably one lead or two leads or a manager. So that gives me the core foundation, right? So 20-30% would consume this space.
So basically,
out of 100% team, let's say, you will have mostly one architect or two architects. That is what you need. So you'll bring in at least one architect from outside. You'll gain one of your architect the opportunity to upskill.
So another aspect from it is like, okay, now you need that person. We can't wait for our person to upskill. Bring a person. So that's the business decision. That first, the ball has to keep moving.
So you bring in the one person. You pair program him with the existing architect so that they do it together. Okay. So like that, when I have 2 lead or 3, probably for 100 member team, right? You will have at least 7 to 8 leads, right? So out of the 7 to 8 leads, I'll probably bring in 4 to 5 leads from outside who are already working on it at various experience levels, and I have a couple of them from internal. So again, that team will form in that way. Okay. and then your developers also. So 20-30% you'll have to bring from outside, because from QA, from all of those
job functions,
you need people who know how to use it. Okay, the remaining 70%, 30% again we'll invest on the top performers who have been there with us for a long time, but trustable. Like, okay, hey, I can invest in this guy. So go into a structured mode. Okay, parallelly, apart from this 100, I'll also have a projection done.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, what is my future projection going to look like? I hire or train based on that.
To summarize, this will be like, for a talent demand of 100, 20% will probably be for a quick immediate thing. We'll go for external hire
For most of them,
like 50, all different across job roles. Then we'll probably go 20%, 30% around to upskill the long-timers and people who are
not just long-timers.
I mean, it's trusty
someone who I can trust. So
they
have shown trust, who have scaled up, who have been, if in demand.
Correct.
Are they scaling up or not? So I cannot demand, put my investment on person who is not coming in and pitching in at the right time and reasoning out.
So this brings me to a question that if generally it happens, we've seen that some junior engineers, they'll say, okay, I want to be enrolled in this program, why this person has got selected, why I didn't get selected. So for that company to invest on the 20-30% for their upskilling, let's say doing their masters, I'm sure there'll be some kind of a bond or some kind of a
it's obviously company policy.
So when they're investing heavily on the person, they will have some kind of agreement with them. So how can someone qualify for that investment?
So if you ask me, one, trust. Your manager should trust, and you should have proven yourself. So that even if I am a manager, if I go in and get an approval, right, the senior management is going to say, should I invest in him? Right? Why? Then I have to give them points saying, hey, we had such a situation. And in this situation, this person is the one who scaled up, helped us get that thing resolved, or implemented something new, upskill very quickly. So when I implement someone who can upskill quickly, he's going to get it results faster for me than someone who has taken, like, let's say one person upskilled in 2 weeks to get something done. Another person in the same team took 4 weeks. I'll obviously go for the person who spent 2 weeks. But if the person who spent 4 weeks has been with us for a longer time and has been very consistently doing things, then I'm probably going for the person who's taken a little longer, but I can depend on him. Dependability.
So basically, it is like it's not like one day match you just showed your capabilities. It's not even that. Consistency. Somebody who has actually been performing and consistently earning the trust and respect, and those kind of person basically. Companies like to invest
in there because it's a give and take, right? It's a two-way street. So they have done a lot. When the opportunity comes in, the company has to give them back. That is how the company thinks. It's not always financial, right? It is always other things also that makes the environment.
So one thing that's coming to my mind is what I used to do back in my career is like I used to have a separate folder for appreciation mails. So whenever I was on a client location, so I basically take the appreciation, keep it in a folder, and I send to my leads. And after like 2-3 months, I'll ask when the quarters awards are there, whom are you going to give these awards for? I like you only you have said done that. So the point I'm trying to make here is for engineers who are there or leads, we have to showcase our work to the leadership and management. If we get anything, if we don't show that, how is somebody going to even know that in the first place? So first demonstrate your work so that everyone knows what you're capable of and earn the trust, and then company is going to invest and take that forward. So Santhosh, now let's what is the client sentiments that you observe around in terms of building AI solutions? Are they leaning towards open source, or like they are looking at consuming the paid LLMs?
Both have their own benefits and they have their own limitations as well, right? So when you look at a paid LLM, right, ChatGPT, Gemini, all those, what they are going to do is they're going to give you faster delivery. You don't have to worry about the infrastructure, setting it up, training. The amount of ML engineers and others that you need are very, very limited, which means your upfront investment is low. Okay. But then the other side of it, can you send your data outside? Is your client data, because you're going to send your client data also, right? So security, compliance. How much can you send out? How much you cannot? Which means it also limits the number of use cases that you can use the paid LLMs
So,
for.
for example, like sectors like finance and healthcare, where there is more sensitivity around.
Yes.
So, leveraging external LLMs might not be a very viable
will
option.
not be a good option because, see, again, PAs, PHIs, basically, if you look at healthcare, right? Can I send it out or not? That's a decision that you take. And then each paid LLM also has their own compliance and governance.
Yeah, and there's country-related regulations and picture. There's all.
So if you're looking at all of that, that's the whole piece of the paid LLM thing is going to be working around compliance, security. How will I send the data? How will it be secure? Where is it going to be stored? How is it getting processed? Those are the questions that your solutioning team is going to look at. Look at the other side of it. Open source. You get the open source model, you have to bring it in-house, you got to give it an infrastructure to set, you have to have your ML engineers to train it, you have to have your data engineers to build the data for it, clean it up, entire end-to-end of your data prep and other things, get it trained, fine-tuned. You do a lot of, which means if I wanted something to be implemented in next 1 month, that is not your option probably. You will have a timeline where you build your internal capability and then you start using it. But here, the benefit is the data is not going out. You have a control of what is being trained, how it is getting trained. You have a lot of control on what is the result of that. Right? So more trustable.
So mostly, even there is, let's say, customer-facing applications. Those generally might not be a good choice for the external LLMs for clients because there is a big black box around. I don't know how it's going to respond and react to that. So Santhosh, from leadership perspective, now we have to make sure that our downstream everyone needs to enable the AI. So how, from a task level or goal level, how leadership is ensuring that everybody is AI enabled?
So generally what happens is we have structured learning, which usually the internal teams are managing it. They put a structure out saying this is the area that my organization is working on and this is how.
So the internal LMS teams,
so the learning and management, they manage that structure.
And sometimes they also have internal courses. Sometimes even external partners are engaged to.
So we use other providers to get that. But the structure is built based on the leadership input. So this is where my vision is. So the L&D team actually builds it based on that vision.
So this is what we are exploring more about the leadership role. People need to know that how many tangents it goes across. So we are also giving instruction, guiding the LMS team to tell what the talent needs to be and get the courses also designed.
That is where the general heading is, right? Because the leadership knows where the projects are coming from. Right? What is my domain? Where am I working on? So we tell them.
So this is from the LMS part.
So when we enroll, we tell them, okay, you have to do this course. This is how the structure is going to be. You get it done. So you are fundamentally you're ready.
So one is the courses curation is done. The next, I believe, is mandating these courses to the resources and kind of setting a KPI that you have to complete.
You have to complete so much of learning, right? And that is managed by learning team. They'll manage. They'll say, okay, how much of
they'll give a report.
They'll give us a report. Okay. So once we know the people who are actually learning, right? Now, when they are doing it, we also give them in the project smaller bite-sized implementations that they can do. Like, let's say we pick a developer, right? We tell them, okay, use Copilot or any of the tools, whatever is there for your client, pick that. And there, how can you write code faster?
Okay, so for developers, what would be for testers or
testers have low-code automation. Like mostly now, automation is by default. Now, low-code automation is a newer concept that has come in where GenAI is building you the entire automation suite based on the requirements and testing and all that.
For BAs?
For the BAs, again, GenAI can be utilized. You start having your meetings, your notes, everything. You pick that, and from there you can build your entire user story, the entire requirements, structuring it out.
So let's say we are sitting, we are on a meeting, the business analyst is on a meeting, and the meeting software basically has a transcript generated. And take that transcript and put it into the LLM and say, create user stories out of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you will have to do a lot of processing.
Correct, I understand that.
You process it.
I'm giving an outline.
On an outline, you'll be able to build up to your user stories, and it beautifully.
So basically, the whole idea is the speed that we are able to achieve with leveraging the Gen AI.
So I've at least seen a 30-40% bump in the productivity.
Amazing. So let's talk about, this is the task level. So just to summarize, step one is from an organization level, and again from the client perspective, every delivery leaders give their information that, okay, these are the knowledge that we need to upskill.
Yes.
Curate the course and give it instead to LLMS. LMS basically come back and give the course. Stage 1 is to train these resources, make it mandatory, and to complete this course. Now they have the knowledge.
Yes.
Now give them the activities.
So they can actually do it.
Actually do it on the job.
On the job.
So this is from task level. What is the goal level?
There are other visions which typically is there in the leadership, where self-healing is one big
production support.
big thing, which there's a lot of projects in production support. Year on year you have to improve. So self-healing is one way where most of the improvement can be brought in. Automation used to do it, but now Chennai is accelerating that whole piece of self-healing. Okay. The second thing is a lot of chatbots are getting introduced, wherein you'll be able to get a lot of insights using LLM itself, just generative.
So for example, if a company is everybody wants to know the leave policy, they need not create a ticket for the HR. You have a chatbot there built
answering that.
Okay.
This has gone to an extent where some of those reports, smaller reports, which is transactional, if a business, someone is in the business wants it, it goes to the BI developer, take a week or so. Now, like Copilot introduced, merged with Fabric, right? With Fabric and Copilot integration, they're able to build some of these things in less than an hour.
Which traditionally used to take about 3, 4, 5 days and all.
Yes.
Like and layers also.
Just a smaller report.
Correct.
I'm doing some analysis. I want to do something. The business user himself can build that report and see it. Okay. It will not be that curated like what comes from a BI, but you're able to get something which is more faster.
Yeah. See,
and then
like
they can do multiple
MVP.
variants.
It's like in a startup, what we do is POC, MVP, and then we scale.
Exactly.
It's similar to that.
So when they're even forming the requirements, the business team can actually do this and say, okay, this is what I think is looking right for my needs.
Yeah.
They can do that analysis themselves and then come to you saying, this is what I need. This is what this has been built, but I need to do one, two changes. Then the BI team is getting involved.
Okay.
Before this has to be done by someone.
Correct, I get it. So, I mean, just to summarize, I think, yes, there are, in any technology, we have early adopters, we have late adopters and things like that. For people who are not proactively going and upskilling themselves in terms of AI, leadership is making sure that they are actually giving them the resources to learn and giving them the task and upskilling.
Yes.
So that's kind of...
now it's not an optional thing.
Not an option.
It is a mandate that everybody has to know at least the basic how you utilize.
Santhosh, generally, like a lot of people have this question like, what are the risks with AI? How many job roles are at risk? And there is with a lot of positivity. Also, there is some kind of a fear among the developer community and the tech community as well. So how do you see this, and what is your response?
There is not a job loss situation that I would talk about. I would talk about a productivity gain situation. Because this is going to be improving, like 40% or 60% of your productivity is increased, which means where I needed 10 people, I would need 4 to 5 people to get the same amount of code out.
Exactly.
So the remaining 6, those who are not ready to upskill themselves, who are not ready to improve their productivity using AI, okay, you are at a risk. Right?
Okay.
But if you are learning it, if you are keeping yourself on the edge,
and there is a demand for them everywhere.
That demand is already there. That demand is already there. It is you who has to decide whether you want to learn this or not. Right? If you're learning it, your job is not at risk. That is for everything, whether it is a developer, QA.
In their job roles, if you
are able to use AI in your job role, your job is there. Now, the other part of it, whoever is coming out also, right? There are other areas of AI which is getting created.
New job roles like
job roles.
Yeah, AI.
So there is a diversity engineer, which is a good role that many people have not heard of.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Diversity engineer is going to say, okay, this is what happens in US as a culture, right?
Yeah.
This is what happens in India. So someone who is Indian has to train the model, then he has to have a diversity engineer who is Indian to understand the nuances of it and train the model according to that. So that is a diversity role, right? And this diversity is going to be in each culture, right? If I'm a Hindi speaking person, Tamil speaking person, Telugu speaking person, we need those people who can say what is the culture. Again, within Tamil Nadu also you have a lot of differences, right?
Correct.
I'm from Chennai versus Madurai. You have those nuances of that location. So as much of localization you're trying to do, more diversity roles are going to. Right now we are all thinking about big India level.
Yeah,
that's the maximum I would say is the diversity we are getting. But India has so much of diverse culture, right?
Okay.
So that diversity engineer is going to be one big push in the future, like that AI security, all
that. So recently I was at a college and I was giving a talk, and one of the students actually brought in that how many job losses happened, and I just said them that okay, we just pulled up the data. Over 61,500 job losses have happened since 2025 until half of the year right now. But I also opened up the LinkedIn and the Naukri.com and just typed artificial intelligence and India alone. Okay. And there are about 20 to 30,000 jobs which are actively open.
Yes.
Which some of them could be fake jobs in that. There are some segments of that.
There's always a mix.
It's there. But this also shows that there is a huge number of jobs which are out there which people can take it up. So if there is to summarize, people who are not leveraging AI in the job functions, they have to really do that because otherwise they will be in the risk zone. But at the same time, there are new avenues, job openings. So now, the other thing that I see is like people say that, software development engineers, the job, will be lost. The AI is going to do the coding, everything. I mean, absolutely, to me, it doesn't make sense because a lot of the software which are claiming to be a complete software engineer, they can build no code, and this builds like small applications like meal planner, time tracking. We are not talking about enterprise software here, so they are not at all at risk. What is your thoughts on that?
So again, you summarized it well. You are able to build smaller modules, smaller pieces of functionality. Yes, it can do it. Again, you're talking about artificial general intelligence. AGI is what we have. It's general. It is very limited in its scope. It is growing at a pace where it is going to go towards super intelligence and all that. But when you talk about it, what can it do? Right now, it can do very limited scope. Right? It will grow. But as this grows, it also introduces areas which are untapped, unexplored. Like some time back when computerization happened, right? 30 years ago, 20 years ago. A lot of people's jobs were lost. But then they got retrained and they went to other avenues which got opened up.
Absolutely.
Right? So when a transformation happens, and we are at an inflex, right? When computerization happened, what inflex happened? So similar thing is happening in AI. So you will have an inflex, which means you will have people who lose jobs. They'll go back, retrain themselves for the newer positions, and they'll come back into the workforce. So that one churn is going to happen. That is, everybody is already experiencing it. But that churn will result in people playing different roles, which are getting newly generated.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's do this question again. So Santhosh, now that a lot of companies are looking at AI adoption or building, we're going at a faster pace. But after we build and deploy, the big problem is there is like how the production support is going to look like. So now, because the traditional SDLC, we have the L1, L2, L3 support, it is very structured. We know what to be done. So how do you see this in terms of AI solutions?
This is going to change drastically according to me, because L1, L2, L3 had their own specific roles defined. Someone does the triaging, someone does the next level, and then the next level, right? But in AI, you may have to be cutting across a little bit more to understand how the model is functioning. Okay, reinforcement training is there. You have to probably fine tune it. If it is really off, then you'll have to retrain it. So all of that is going to become an input that the L1, L2 is going to give to L3.
So to summarize, or the way I look at it is like now L1, L2 engineers, they should upskill, they should know about AI, because these AI systems are going to come, and there will be a demand for people who understand AI to support AI applications. And let's say L1, L2 is able to do a basic triage, and then they pass it on to L3 and have tickets created for reinforcement learning and training, retraining and all that. MLOps and things.
So these are all some of those new things that will start coming up where you will have to upskill yourself.
So this is the point we are talking about, that if there is going to be a reduction of workforce in some place, there is going to be need for a lot of...
So this is more like you're already in L1, L2. You transform yourself to handle that. It is not something which is newly created. Traditionally it was there. You're going to be AI equipped. That's
correct. So Santhosh, another thing what I want to ask is like, okay, probably I'll tell you, 3 months back I was in a AI stakeholder consultation meet with Government of India, Telangana and UNESCO. So I was in part of a meeting where we discussed on what kind of AI policies can the regulations have in terms of implementing AI solutions. So it was a very fun conversation. It was good to see that Government of India was basically, and UNESCO, want to hear from a lot of representation. We had people from, I was from startup, there were people from IIT, there are people from other corporates. So lots are happening. We don't have AI policy in India as of now, but we do have a lot of guidelines for that matter. Like the government has a procurement guidelines, likewise. EU has their AI laws. Now when corporates, when they are deploying AI solutions, what kind of guidelines are they having internal guidelines, or are they referring to like a global entity like UNESCO or government guidelines? So how do you see that?
So it happens on both the sides of the fence, because if you're like operating out of EU, you have to follow those guidelines.
Correct,
that is always there. That is part of your compliance.
Yes.
So when you say that I'm going to use AI,
This region.
open or paid, then I have to follow the guidelines as what is laid out. Okay. And that is going to be region specific. If my client is in EU, that is what I do. If it is in US, I have to follow the
Region specific.
India may not have it right now, but we are also looking at what is being built outside. Okay, so if I'm doing something which is local to India, we still have to follow some of those guidelines, because the practice of having it ethically done, and being responsible around it is going to be there. Okay, so we have to look at it. India does not have it, but we are looking at other countries.
So to summarize, the way I see this is with your response, corporates are actively looking out for the regulations and making sure
it. But see, the other thing is regulation is going to tell you what is the best practice to do. But we also have someone internal who says, okay, this is what applies to my business. This is how I am going to, institutionalize it.
Yeah.
But this is at a very, very nascent stage, because people are right now at the stage where they have to adopt fast.
Yeah.
So they are adopting aggressively, but this is doing more like a.
So these are another job roles that are created there. So now let's come to this part where if somebody wants to be at a leadership level, like you are an associate director level, this in a corporate structure is basically it's a pyramid, right? You don't have, the higher it goes, the number of resources there are less.
Yes.
So how can they rise to such levels, and what mindset or qualities would that require?
See, the higher you go, the decision that you take is going to be more impactful. So have you taken that impactful decision? Because like you said, the pyramid, right?
Yeah.
The top of the pyramid, when it takes, it impacts the entire pyramid.
Yeah, it's
like that, wherever you are on the pyramid, your impact is going to be that level.
Yeah.
Right? So when you are working on a day-to-day work, see how much of impact are you actually having on your team. If you're very impactful, right? It can be impact on the revenue, it can be impact on the quality, it can be on the performance, delivery challenges, any of those things. But when you start continuously showing that you can take those decisions, okay, then you can rise up.
It's a very interesting way of saying that, because it's not the work, it's the impact. Obviously the impact comes with work, but how are you able to think and makes life better, to make things easier, faster, in all different tangents?
See, basically, what value have you showcased? Let's say if I'm saying that I can do AI, I can tell a number of times.
Yeah.
Right. But if I actually implement some AI in my project, obviously, when the next role opens up for an AI-based position, they'll pick me, because I've already not just told them, I've done them also.
Yeah. In corporate, it is not like what you speak, what you have done.
What you have done.
What you have done only will put
that
you in
makes
the next
a lot
part.
of difference.
Okay. So again, now this is now from a personality perspective. Okay. For somebody, I would say somebody who is also open and able to communicate, also open to hear others' perspective, and also able to communicate and convince others.
That's there in any leadership.
Yeah, that's you not everybody has this by birth, but
it's a soft skill that you have to grow. And with AI, right, the amount of information available is also higher, which means the kind of questions that are getting asked is also uniquely different. Like the kind of questions that the customer is asking, they go to AI and they're able to get a lot of insights, right? Now their questions are also very insightful. So you will have to build your knowledge to answer it that.
The way I'm seeing is now the questions are coming like this. I already done this in ChatGPT. People go to doctor, they go to doctor and say, see doctor, I have actually this problem. I went and read in Google and this is it has told me this. Now, what do you think about it? So it's that kind of situation. People are going to LLM, getting their basic answer. Now we have to be smarter than the LLMs.
You have to be smarter than... See,
Yeah,
you have to basically understand what LLM is going to tell, but what is your traditional experience also telling?
Yeah.
So
both have
the
to be
doctors are getting the highest, I would say.
Yeah.
Now, I've had my doctor who is saying that, see, I've spent 5 years, I've studied a lot of things. I am a certified doctor. Google is not a certified doctor. He did not go through 5-year course.
Yeah.
That is what. So when I go to the client also, I have to say, okay, this is all is right.
Correct.
You're probably getting all of it chunked out in bits and pieces, and you're trying to say it is going to work. But when you put it all together, have you considered this? You'll have those missing links.
Correct.
So the doctor is going to fill that missing links.
That's correct.
Similarly, we are also saying, okay, there are missing links. When I put all those things, your solution may have a challenge.
Yeah.
This is what is going to happen. So even the packaging has to be in a way that you're not wrong. But you have to be a little bit more thoughtful. This is another aspect of it. Consider that. Now, this may have an impact. Let's do it other way around.
So, I think we covered a lot of stuff. So, first of all, thank you, Santhosh, for taking time today and being here. And
Thank you.
There's a lot of useful information that we discussed and you shared, which is going to benefit a lot of people out there. So, it was great. I hope you also had a great time.
It was a lot of good discussion, basically. Different aspects of the leadership. I liked it a lot. Thanks for having me here.
My pleasure. Our pleasure to be. So, thank you guys for staying with us. And as we say, as we explore the world of AI, let's do it ethically and responsibly. And with that note, I would like to thank Santhosh again. Thank you, and see you all in the next episode. Until then, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.